Lock in. It's budget season, and that means it's time for the provinces to tell you how they'll be spending your money. So each province has released their budget for the 2026-2027 year, and they're all projecting deficits. Now, if you fell asleep in civics class, all that means is that there's more money being spent than there is coming in. Simple maths. But these are just numbers. So what does this have to do with you? Well, if you pay taxes or use public services like schools or hospitals, everything. Since the 70s, provincial governments have generally run deficits, and that meant borrowing more money each year to bridge the gap between what's being spent versus what's coming in. But remember, governments still have to pay to borrow this money, and it can really start to compound into a big problem.
It's really hard for people to see this because they don't really see it like they would see their paycheck or they would see their Visa bill. Debt has gone up over time. Generally, the cost of financing has gone up, and it just means that governments are providing either less services than they otherwise would be, or they're taxing more.
Here's something tangible. That expert I spoke to told me that the $16 billion Ontario will have to pay in interest this year is more than the province spends on post-secondary education. And an article from the Fraser Institute says if BC's debt interest was a department, it would be the fourth largest in the government. That's money no longer available for healthcare, education, or to make fiscal room for tax relief. Now here's where it gets difficult. When it comes to solving this debt, he says, there really isn't a popular answer. Do you want your services cut, or do you want higher taxes? It's something that governments have to struggle with every year.
The government has a lot of options. I just don't think they have a lot of options that people are willing to support. Every time you take back money, there's somebody at the other end of that money, a service at the end of that money, and somebody's going to be unhappy about that. People want all this stuff. They just don't want to really pay for it.
But should he be concerned? He says no. While these are big numbers, they aren't disastrous. Now, I'm going to bring back those charts again, but this time I'm going to compare them to the size of each province's economy. Most of the deficits that we're seeing across provinces are in that 1 to 3% range. It would be like increasing your yearly credit card balance 1 to 3% compared to your income.
We're nowhere near a financial crisis. The key takeaway is people should be watching public finances, and they should be concerned about rising debt and interest payments, but they also should be reasonable about the alternative.